Welcome back, everybody. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Chris Lee, and I'm one of the co-founders here at Carve, the app that aligns capacity planning and sales efforts to eliminate your resourcing problems. Now, in this segment, we're going to be taking a closer look at our project control screen and dashboard, because it's here where your sales pipeline and your capacity planning first intersect. Let's start by just talking about the basic anatomy of our control screen and dashboards. So all control screen and dashboards are broken into two sections. One, the aggregate, which is up here, and then all of the individual things that make up it. Now on the project screen, the individual things that make up it are all of your projects. All of the projects that are currently scheduled or in your sales pipeline. But let's start by looking at the aggregate chart. Now, these aggregate charts are pretty unique to Carve, because what we're doing is we're taking all of the resourcing concerns and we're aggregating them and mapping them against capacity, which is represented by this horizontal yellow line. Now, if we were to look over here, this solid yellow close to the now, the current date, this is your booked project work. It's showing you what is your utilization going to be with the work that is currently contracted. Now, if we move over into this area where we have multiple different shades of yellow, we're getting into sales pipeline territory. This is where we're taking information from that sales pipeline and converting it into something that makes sense for resourcing. And as you can see with this tooltip, each one of these shades represents a different close confidence. And it shows you how much project work is in each one and what will your utilization be in each scenario. Now this is super important because it allows you to plan for what's likely to happen, that booked project work, and then prepare for the other scenarios. Now that brings up the last piece of this piece we call upper bound, this high gray. This is that scenario if you were to close 100% of your project pipeline. Now, very unlikely, but it's good to know because it allows you to do a little bit of scenario analysis and not just deal with projects as soon as they are contracted, which again is what typically happens right here. A project becomes very, very likely to close in this period and then you figure it out. Well, we're giving you the extra information so you can plan for those additional potential scenarios. Now, there are also lots of ways to filter this data, so you'll always be able to find what you need quickly and efficiently. Now, one of the most fun ways to do that is by using these individual curves as actual filters. So if I were to click on one of these, say, click on the book projects, I'll click on that, and immediately what's going to happen is the projects are going to be filtered to show you what's booked. And of course, that can be done with any of the confidence intervals so you know what's going on in each one and how it's contributing to your aggregate forecast. Now, also up here, we have a filter that allows you to build complex filters so you can say things like, show me all projects that are being done for X client, or you can say things like, show me all projects that are being done by this team for that client, so you can string those together. And you can also, directly above me, use these quick ones to see which projects are booked or unbooked and which have been assigned or unassigned. Very important as you're going through from a tactical strategic mode into a scheduling mode. All right, the last thing we've got to take a look at are these colorful project models. They're very important. And what the colors represent are how many hours of each specific role is needed to get this project done. So for example, turquoise is how many is back in development, and it shows you how many hours are needed from that role on that project. Now, it's super important to have this high-level resourcing information because as you're scrolling through this, you can immediately know which projects are heavy in each type of role, which is helpful when you're trying to shift stuff around. Now, the last thing that's a game changer you can do on this screen is change the project dates. And you can simply do that by clicking, dragging, and dropping. And right like that, when a client asks you for a date change, you just push it, and Carve updates the entire aggregate forecast and does all of the scheduling changing on your behalf. So that's a high level of the project's control screen and dashboard. My name is Chris Lee. I'm one of the co-founders here at Carve, the app that aligns sales efforts and capacity planning. Stay tuned.